My first initial reaction to September 11th, 2001 was disbelief and shock. Just didn't know what was going on, and also confused, wasn't sure what was happening. The first plane that crashed, I thought it was an accident, and then a few seconds later the other plane crashed, and you knew something bigger was going on. And then we heard about the one in Shanksville, so it was a lot of confusion, shock, and disbelief from the beginning.
About 9/11, I was shocked and upset.
So my first initial reaction to 9/11 was almost unimaginable, living in the United States with all the security that we have, that something like this could actually happen.
Marcy, come here. And I said, what's wrong? And she had this look on her face like something devastating had happened. She goes, you need to see this. And she had a TV in her room. And they would watch different TV shows like throughout the course of the day. And the news was on, and Good Morning America was on, and I stood in her doorway and I watched the second plane fly into the building. Very, like I said, you didn't know what was going to happen next. It was very eerie, quiet that day after it had gone on, after it hadn't happened, almost 14 years ago, 15 years ago now, and there was really no cell phones, no social media, so we were only going by word of mouth. And I remember specifically there was a student of mine who was in gym at that time, and he originally was from New York, and he had a lot of family that still lived in Brooklyn, and his grandmother, he was trying to get a hold of people because he had like aunts and uncles, and his grandmother lived in Brooklyn, but she worked in Lower Manhattan. And he found out later, the next day, he told us that his grandmother walked from Lower Manhattan across the Brooklyn Bridge home, and it took her like 4 hours to get home.
Saddened. I feel anger. I feel anger towards people. Why would they do such a thing?
I was in 8th grade, so I was 13 at the time. Being that young, we had grown up in a country that we thought was untouchable, and everything just kind of changed that day. Everybody was in a panic and saying the world was going to end. At first, we didn't know what was going on. People just kept saying the world was going to end, and most of us thought, why is everybody getting an early dismissal? We were no longer that untouchable place. That the country had changed, and our future as we knew it was going to be a little different.